You must be a glutton for punishment. Okay, right, let's summarise. Part 1. We tested the supply voltages to the subunit, which is the board which I've got now semi-installed in this. We repaired the CPU, not the CPU, I'll say it again. We repaired the inverter circuit because there was an inductor gone open circuit, and we replaced it was a multiplexer IC, i.e. that's the old one we took out, and we've installed a new multiplexer, which is IC-756. Now I've reassembled the unit. I've not I've got the tube out of it, the LCD screen, and that's the connection. It's doing nothing. It doesn't really need to be on. It's given us a poor picture anyway. So we power it up now. Aha! And the volume controls are working. The meter won't be working because it's not soldered on. And the squelch. So that's now working again, where this was all dysfunctional. You press these buttons and they didn't do anything, which is good. So that IC certainly seemed to be the problem. Now, what's actually caused that, I'm not sure. With the inductor going as well, we saw that there was looks like there's been some water ingress in the radio at some time. The rest of the radio looks fine, but it doesn't look like there's a lot been in there, but there's certainly been something in there. I think that's probably the cause. I've cleaned the circuit boards up, so it doesn't seem to be a problem. Okay, let's move on to the next section. Okay, we removed the Sanyo display, and it's a shame it looks such a well-made unit, but obviously not. They're very problematic. I've read there's some fixes for these. To be honest, life's too short. You may get it going again, and then you're gonna have to take it apart again, and it starts playing up. We have this, which is a replacement screen, which is supplied by an outfit in the Netherlands. Very helpful. Bought a complete kit off them. I haven't tried it yet, but we're going to see how it goes on. And what I'm going to do, because there's quite a few mods that's got to be done to the board, so we'll go through that. But before we do, I'm going to have this apart, and I'll let you have a look inside, and I'll show you what goes wrong in them, and then we'll get into the business of fitting this unit. Okay, well, I've split the screen. It's just been done by straightening these tags, and look at the rubbers. These are just basically transfer pads. What they do, they connect onto the surface. I'll be touching this. It literally goes along this printed surface tracks here, and they transfer a signal, because they're just it's just like a laminated rubber with thin metal strips, and it'll take it through to the connections on the LCD. Obviously this is the LCD screen, but here, this is I believe that is the trouble. And if you look, is the ribbon, and I think what's happening is detaching along there. I'll give it I'm just going to give it a bit of TLC, put it back together and see what it does. You never know, you might be lucky, but if not, we've got this other screen and there's the mods to do to it, so we'll get that fitted. Okay, well, this is the kit with a piece of link wire. What I've got out here is the main unit. Now, we got this kit from the Ham Tech Centre in the Netherlands. The chap's name I was dealing with was Richard Rosenberger, and we got it just over the internet, and it came through pretty quick. And all the necessary, that's it. That's what this enters. The screen and a piece of cable. Now, there's a number of modifications we've got to do on here, and what we're going to be doing is disabling the HV power supply, which is, I don't know, I've repaired that as well. You couldn't make it up. Okay, so yeah, the HV power supply we're going to disable, because this high voltage output, which was for the backlight, the cold cathode backlight of the old display, is no longer required. So, well, I think that's a good idea. Obviously, these things running. And also, there is the minus 30 volts power supply that needs to be disabled. And there's a number of links we've got to put on the board. So basically what I'm going to do is start from the top, and I'll detail. I'm just going from the literature that I've got off the internet from that website, and I'm just going to follow it to the letter, and all things being equal, it should work. Okay, step one is to cut L103, which is the one I've repaired. That's got to come out because that controls the HV power supply. It's the supply 13 volt rails. We cut it this side. A pair of side cutters here. It's done. If you want to see where that's located on the board, come back. It's here. Okay, step one. Okay, step two. We're going to remove R203. It's a 1.5 ohm resistor, and it's in here, which is the minus 30 volt power supply. This will basically disable it. So if we zoom in, if I can get the focus, come on, there we go. Okay, now that's in a can, and it's a little bit tricky to get to. I can get it out, but unfortunately you're not going to be able to see it on the camera. What I'm going to do is just give it some heat with an iron, and that'll just lift off, and I'll clean the tracks. So if you zoom back out, you can see which can that's located in. It's this one here, which is the, as I said, the minus 30 volt power supply. Okay, as you can see, that's our 203 now removed. I could probably do with cleaning that up a little. That's the resistor there. SMD. Look on the circuit. It is here. That's our 203, and as you can see, it's a 1.5 ohm resistor. Again, there's a choke here, but yeah, that's what we removed. It's obviously disabling this. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Okay, step 3, we need to remove R157 and R161. And if we look on here, Tommy pointer, that's R157, that's R161. So they need to come off completely, so we'll do that just now. I'm just going to do it with the iron. Okay, as I said, this is 157 here, this is 161. I'm just going to put the iron on these. They are surface mount, they're not very big, and they don't take a lot of heat to only fine pitch. So that's one off. And that's those two removed. I'm just going to do my usual trick of cleaning the pads there. Just be very careful not to catch any of the other components in that area. Okay, well, I've cut the track. I don't like the look of that. I hate modifying radios. It's just something that I hate, but in this case it's an absolute necessity. I've got to repair it. I'm going to tidy that up. But I've tested it with the meter. It's now open circuit. Right, so now we're going to solder all wire from here round onto, I believe it's there somewhere. Okay, step 5 is, this is the final step I believe. What we've got to do is cut this track here. This track there as it comes, I think that's the first pin. Not the first pin, it won't be, it'll be track 22 or 21. But we're going to cut that track there, separate it, then we're going to run a wire from there around into the centre between those two resistors. Okay, and there is another one. You've got to cut which is this track here, and that comes across. I didn't get it the first time, so I'm fitting it in, but yeah, you've got to cut that, otherwise your contrast won't work. What I'm going to do, I'll do that now. It's very difficult cutting these tracks, and what I'm really worried about is obviously catching, catching other components or other tracks. I did this one with a sharp screwdriver. There's not a lot to damage there. It looks a bit of a dog's dinner, I know, but I'll deal with that in a second. But I've got some very sharp scalpels type knives, craft type knives. I wonder if I might have better success using one of those, so I'll give that a go first. Okay, well, this is quite tricky to do. It's tricky work. It said it's quite difficult. Can be difficult, but it seems to have gone okay. I just did this because this is obviously step 5, because it's too difficult to capture it with a camera. But basically, what we were doing, we pick up between these two resistors here, which I believe is R152, R153. Now, instead of soldering between the resistors, I don't really want to disturb them. I've just picked up on the, you can see that, I've just picked up on the leg of the capacitor here, which connects in between. I've picked up there, and if we look on the circuit diagram, where is she? Here we go. R152, R113, and they do. They're just 10 microfarad electrolytic takes them down to some smoothing of sorts down to ground. So we've connected that, and that goes round onto pin 21, which it says in the instructions to double check that is open circuit. I've done that with the multimeter, and it is. Obviously that might be quite important. If that's still connected, it could probably cause a problem. We've connected this wire from pin 22, or on that pad, which goes round to where we broke the track. And I've soldered that in. I've checked the continuity on there. That's not shorting or anything. It's a little burnt on the end. This cable isn't the best, but and we removed the resistors from here, which was R157, R161, and we also removed R203 from in there, which disabled the power supply. Now I'm just going to go over it and double check everything to make sure I've not left any solder splashes or anything. I mean, I hate modifying boards. I know I've said it before, but these are beautifully designed. There's no links or anything when they're manufactured, and but I don't really have any. There isn't really any choice. Even if we could get a replacement Sanyo screen, I wouldn't fix it, because I wouldn't put it in, because it's going to go wrong again, no doubt. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to run this and give it a quick test, and if it comes up, I'm just going to put some hot melt glue in spots around, covering up the joints and whatnot, so vibrations and it doesn't there's no movement on there, so it'll hopefully be a reliable modification. Okay, well, now's the $64 million question. We're going to connect this up, and we are going to see, is it going to work? Well, let's see. Okay, we've brought it up, and look at what we've got on here. Now, there's some adjustment we can make. I do believe and obviously we've got that screens over it, so it's not particularly bright, but there's a backlight on there, and we have legible screen. Okay, well, I'm now going to put this, I'm just going to put everything back together, do those tidy up mods. I'm going to see if I can clean that up too, and yeah, I'm just going to go through it and make sure everything's okay, but I'm pleased with it. That's good. So we're moving in the right direction. Okay, I've got the radio back together. I've given all the casings a good clean. There's no damage or anything on it. It was just filthy. And I've used some, as I always use, Servasol foam cleanser 30 anti-static foam cleaner. It's very good with plastics and electronics, I find. I've been using it for years and it's scrubbed up really well. I've replaced the VFO nut, put a brand new one on, which I picked up from ICOM. And you know, it's aesthetically, you can't really see on the camera, but it's looking really good. Okay, well, let's turn it on. As you can see, the screen's working. They're on commercial radio station. Yeah, 1.2 megs on air. See the band's go. Now I've gone through it, and you know, it's got full functionality. It's reasonably in tune. It's doing quite well. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not that familiar with the functionality of this radio. However, everything is pretty straightforward. Everything seems to be working. If we jump on to on 20 metres. It's evening time here, so the man's starting to go a bit flat. But there's some great features. It certainly works well, and you know, most importantly with the screen, if we go to here, display, we can adjust the backlight brightness level. Of course, this is using LEDs as opposed to a cold cathode backlight, and you know, the contrast is working. It's a bit different. It's not quite as sharp as the original screen. However, I quite like it. It's not. It's not a problem. It's quite readable. And of course, you know, the people who supply these claim that they're very reliable, and I should imagine they are. You know, it's a better made unit, and obviously using LED, you know, backlighting. We don't need all the inverters running that are in there, which can only be a good thing, I would have thought. You know, because the noise they generate, and obviously being a sensitive receiver. But I'm impressed with it. Okay, it's on 40 metres. It does have some nice features, this radio, what I've seen. You know, I couldn't go through it. This video would be just too long. But if you've stayed with me this far, I just say thanks for watching, and I hope you found the video. I hope you found the video interesting or of help. And until next time, adios.